Imagine waking up each morning with less energy than the day before. You push through the day, telling yourself it's just age, stress, or lack of sleep. You sip coffee, maybe take vitamins, yet deep down you feel something is not right. This persistent tiredness, this unexplainable weakness, can quietly be the earliest signal that your liver, the most silent, hardest working organ in your body, is struggling. And what's remarkable is that the liver rarely shouts for attention. It doesn't cause sharp, alarming pain the way a broken bone does. Instead, it whispers, and fatigue is one of those whispers. Think of your liver as the body's 24-hour detoxification and energy regulation system. Every drop of blood that flows through your intestines after you eat passes through the liver first. It's here that nutrients are sorted, toxins are filtered, and energy is distributed. When this system begins to falter, your cells don't get the clean fuel they need, waste builds up. Energy production slows down. The result? You feel like you're carrying the weight of the day before it even begins. This isn't just tiredness from staying up late. This is a heaviness that no amount of sleep seems to fix. We often underestimate fatigue because it's so common in our modern lives. But here's the truth. Persistent, unexplained weakness can be your body's way of signaling that the liver is under stress. It could be overloaded by processed foods, alcohol, viral infections, medications, or silent fat accumulation. Over time, the liver cells become inflamed, scarred, and less efficient. And because the liver is so resilient, it continues to work, compensating until it reaches a breaking point. That's why, by the time obvious symptoms appear, damage may already be advanced. Let's take a simple analogy. Imagine a water filter in your home that hasn't been changed for months. At first, the water still looks clear, but the flow slows down. Over time, debris builds up, the taste changes, and eventually, the filter clogs. Your liver is like that filter. When overburdened, the flow of life's essential processes slows down, and fatigue becomes one of the first warning lights on the dashboard. Here's the empowering part. If you listen to this signal early, you can change the course. Fatigue doesn't mean inevitable disease. It means pause, pay attention, and support your liver. Science shows that even small changes, reducing alcohol, cutting down on refined sugars, staying hydrated, moving your body daily, and adding nutrient-rich foods like leafy greens, cruciferous vegetables, and omega-3s can lighten the liver's workload and restore vitality. Your body is speaking to you in a language that is subtle but consistent. Fatigue, when persistent and unexplained, is not something to dismiss or push aside. It's your chance to act before silent damage becomes irreversible. Every day, your liver fights for you. It processes everything you eat, every sip you take, every pill you swallow, and it asks for so little in return. There's a quote I often remind myself of: your body whispers before it screams. If you learn to listen to the whispers, you may never have to hear it scream. Fatigue is one of those whispers. It is not a weakness in your character or a lack of willpower, it's a physiological signal. If you honor it, if you support your liver now, you don't just fight fatigue, you protect the very foundation of your health and extend the vitality of your years. When you look in the mirror each morning, your skin and eyes often tell a story before your words ever do. They reflect not just your emotions, but the inner workings of your body. And when the whites of your eyes begin to take on a yellowish tint, or when your skin shifts from its natural glow to a pale or yellow shade, it's not just a cosmetic change, it's a powerful signal. This signal is called jaundice, and it is one of the clearest indicators that your liver is in distress. The reason for this change lies in a substance called bilirubin. Bilirubin is a yellow pigment produced when your body breaks down old red blood cells. Under normal conditions, your liver processes this pigment and helps excrete it safely. But when the liver is compromised, whether by infection, inflammation, fat buildup, or scarring, it can no longer handle bilirubin efficiently. It builds up in the bloodstream, eventually showing itself through the skin and eyes. That's why jaundice is not just about appearance, it is the body's alarm bell warning that the liver is overwhelmed. It's important to recognize how subtle this can begin. Many people notice their eyes looking a little different under certain lighting or their skin taking on a dull tone, but they brush it aside. They tell themselves it's fatigue, poor sleep, or stress. Yet the reality is, these early signs can be the difference between catching liver damage in its early stages or discovering it only when the damage is advanced. To better understand this, imagine a city where trash collection suddenly stops. At first, it's barely noticeable. A few bags piling up, but with each passing day, the waste grows, the smell spreads, and eventually the entire city feels the consequences. Your bloodstream is that city. And bilirubin is the waste, the liver is the collection system. If it stalls, the buildup becomes visible, and the body can no longer hide what is happening inside. What makes jaundice especially critical is that it often indicates more than one underlying issue. It could be hepatitis, gallstones, alcohol-related damage, or even certain medications that are putting pressure on the liver. In newborns, jaundice can sometimes be harmless and temporary, but in adults, it is rarely something to ignore. It's the kind of signal that demands attention, not dismissal. Here's the empowering part. While the presence of jaundice means the liver needs help, it also gives us a clear opportunity. It's a sign we can't overlook, and it urges us to make choices now, choices about food, alcohol, medical follow-ups, and lifestyle. This is where knowledge becomes power. When you understand that a small change in color can reflect such a profound internal struggle, you can act sooner, with wisdom and with purpose. One of the most human lessons we can take from this is simple. The body always tries to communicate with us in visible ways. We just need to be willing to see it. As one wise saying puts it, your eyes are not only the window to your soul, they are also the mirror of your health. When they change color, it is not vanity to pay attention, it is survival. So if you ever notice your skin or eyes turning yellow, don't ignore it. Don't chalk it up to stress or fatigue. Listen to it. Investigate it, because by respecting that signal, you may not only protect your liver, you may save your life. There are moments when your body speaks in ways that are hard to ignore. A dull ache beneath your ribs, a feeling of heaviness in your stomach after eating very little, or a strange swelling that makes your clothes fit tighter, even though you haven't gained weight. These aren't just random discomforts. They are often the body's way of signaling that the liver is in distress. Abdominal discomfort, swelling, and fluid retention are some of the most telling signs that this vital organ, which usually works silently and tirelessly, is beginning to falter. The liver sits on the right side of your abdomen, tucked beneath your rib cage. When it becomes inflamed or enlarged due to conditions like fatty liver disease, hepatitis, or scarring, it stretches the capsule surrounding it. This stretching often creates a persistent ache or a sense of fullness. What's remarkable is that many people ignore this early sign, mistaking it for indigestion, muscle strain, or simply eating something bad. But this discomfort is not caused by the food you ate yesterday. It's your liver struggling with years of overload. Then there is swelling. A healthy liver manages fluid balance in your body by producing proteins like albumin, which help keep fluid in the bloodstream. When the liver weakens, albumin levels drop, and fluid begins to leak into surrounding tissues. That's why ankles and feet swell, or why fluid builds up in the abdominal cavity, a condition known as ascites. What begins as mild bloating can, over time, turn into noticeable distension, making it hard to move, breathe, or eat comfortably. And unlike simple weight gain, this swelling feels tense, heavy, and unnatural. Think of your body like a house with proper drainage. When the pipes are clear, water flows where it should. But when the system clogs, water begins to collect in the wrong places, flooding areas that should remain dry. The liver is part of that drainage system. When it cannot regulate fluid properly, the body begins to flood itself. The danger here is not just discomfort. Fluid buildup can create dangerous pressure, invite infections, and cause the lungs to work harder. What starts as a swollen belly can quickly escalate into a medical emergency if left untreated. And yet, because the liver is so resilient, these warning signs often come late, after years of silent struggle. That is why recognizing them early is so critical. The empowering truth is that not all is lost when these symptoms appear. Medical evaluation, lifestyle changes, and proper treatment can often slow down, stop, or even partially reverse the process. Reducing salt intake, staying active, managing weight, avoiding alcohol, and following medical advice can ease the burden on the liver and reduce fluid buildup. Every step you take lightens the load on this organ, giving it room to recover. There's a powerful quote that fits here perfectly: "The body never lies, it tells the truth in ways we can feel, even when we wish to ignore it." Abdominal discomfort and swelling are not just nuisances to brush aside, they are truths spoken by your liver, urging you to act, to care, to intervene before the situation worsens. So when you feel that unexplained fullness, that swelling that doesn't seem to go away, don't dismiss it. Pay attention, because these signals are not the end of the story, they are your invitation to write a better one, to take action, and to protect the organ that quietly protects you every single day. One of the most remarkable things about the human body is how it uses the simplest of signals to tell us something complex. Take digestion, for example. Every day we eat, we drink, and we eliminate. It feels so routine that we rarely stop to think about it, yet, when the liver begins to struggle, some of the earliest and most revealing signs show up in the bathroom, in the color of your urine, the look of your stool, and the shifts in your appetite. These aren't random changes. They are the body's way of waving a red flag, asking us to look closer. Urine is one of the first clues. Under normal circumstances, it ranges from light yellow to amber depending on hydration. But when the liver cannot properly process bilirubin, that same pigment responsible for jaundice spills into the bloodstream and eventually into the urine, darkening it to a deep yellow, orange, or even brown. People often assume this change is due to dehydration or vitamins, but if it persists, it's worth considering the liver as the source. The body is literally offloading what the liver cannot handle. Now consider stool. Healthy digestion produces stool in shades of brown because of bile salts, which are made by the liver. But when bile flow is blocked or diminished, the stool can turn pale, clay-colored, or greasy. This isn't just a cosmetic difference, it's a sign that fats are not being broken down properly, and that the liver's ability to make or deliver bile is impaired. On the other extreme, black or tarry stools can suggest bleeding in the digestive tract, sometimes linked with advanced liver disease. Again, the body leaves visible evidence of what is happening inside. Loss of appetite is another subtle but important sign. When the liver is inflamed or struggling, it affects the way the body processes nutrients and signals hunger. Food that once seemed appealing can suddenly feel unappetizing, and small meals may cause fullness or discomfort. Over time, this lack of appetite contributes to weight loss and muscle wasting, which further weakens the body. What makes this particularly concerning is how easy it is to dismiss. People say, "I'm just stressed," or "it's just a stomach bug," when in reality their liver may be struggling to keep pace. The truth is, digestion is like a daily report card from your liver. Just as a student's grades reflect their study habits, your urine, stool, and appetite reflect your liver's workload and efficiency. Ignoring these changes is like ignoring red ink on a report. You miss the chance to correct the problem before it worsens. And yet, here lies the hopeful part. When you pay attention to these signals, you can act early. You can seek medical advice, adjust your diet, reduce alcohol, and choose foods that support liver health: fiber-rich vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, and healthy fats. You can stay hydrated, keep moving, and allow your liver the chance to heal. There is a simple but powerful truth to remember. Your body talks to you every day. The question is, are you listening? The color of your urine, the shade of your stool, the pull of your appetite, these are not inconveniences or accidents. They are conversations your liver is trying to have with you. So, the next time you notice these changes, don't look away, pay attention. Because when you learn to listen to the everyday language of your body, you give yourself the gift of time, the time to act, the time to heal, and the time to protect your health before it's too late. There are times when you feel your mind isn't as sharp as it used to be. You walk into a room and forget why. You struggle to find words that once came easily. You feel foggy, disconnected, as though your brain is running a step behind your body. Many people dismiss this as simple aging, stress, or lack of sleep. But what most don't realize is that the health of your liver has a direct impact on the clarity of your thoughts. Cognitive disturbances and brain fog can be silent indicators that your liver is under serious strain. Here's why. One of the liver's most critical roles is detoxification. Every moment of the day, it filters toxins, waste products, and byproducts of metabolism from your blood. When the liver weakens, it can no longer filter efficiently. These toxins, including substances like ammonia, begin to circulate in the bloodstream, and where does the blood go next? Straight to the brain. The result is confusion, poor concentration, memory issues, and even personality changes. This condition, known medically as hepatic encephalopathy, shows us just how interconnected the liver and brain truly are. Imagine the liver as a gatekeeper at the entrance of a city. Its job is to check everything coming in, to make sure nothing harmful gets through. When the gatekeeper grows tired or distracted, dangerous items slip past, entering the city unchecked. The city is your brain. If the liver falters, toxins sneak in and disrupt its harmony, clouding your ability to think, focus, and function. The earliest signs may be subtle, forgetting small details, struggling to complete tasks that once felt simple, or feeling unusually irritable. But as the problem progresses, the symptoms can become profound: difficulty writing clearly, disorientation, even trouble recognizing familiar surroundings. These are not simply bad days, they are your brain signaling that your liver is overwhelmed. The danger lies in how easily this can be overlooked. A person may blame themselves for being forgetful, or believe they're just stressed. Families may chalk it up to aging, but in reality, these cognitive changes could be the body's way of crying out for help, warning that the liver can no longer carry the burden alone. The good news is that awareness brings power. When liver-related brain fog is identified early, lifestyle changes, medical treatment, and nutritional support can make a profound difference. Avoiding alcohol, reducing processed foods, staying hydrated, eating fiber-rich meals, and seeking medical evaluation for persistent symptoms can slow the buildup of toxins and protect both liver and brain. Supporting one organ protects the other, because they are inseparably linked. There is a quote that resonates deeply here. A clear mind begins with a clean body. When the liver cannot keep the body clean, the mind loses its clarity. But when we protect the liver, we also protect our ability to think, to create, to remember, and to connect with the people we love. So, if you find yourself struggling with brain fog that doesn't make sense, don't dismiss it as a sign of age or stress. Ask deeper questions. Listen to your body. Because the truth is, your mind's clarity may depend on how well you care for your liver. And by protecting it, you protect not just your physical health, but the very essence of who you are. Sometimes the body sends signals that seem almost insignificant at first glance. A bruise that appears too easily after bumping into a table. An itch that lingers without a rash. Tiny, web-like blood vessels that show up on the skin, or nails that change color and shape in ways you can't quite explain. Many people dismiss these as small annoyances or simply part of getting older. But these subtle signs can actually be your liver's way of asking for help, quiet, outward reflections of deeper struggles happening inside. Let's begin with bruising. Normally, when you injure yourself, your body quickly produces clotting factors, proteins that stop bleeding. These clotting factors are made by the liver. When the liver is damaged, it can't produce them as efficiently. That means even minor bumps can result in dark, spreading bruises that take longer to heal. What looks like clumsiness or fragile skin may actually be evidence that the blood's ability to clot is compromised because the liver is not keeping up with its responsibilities. Now consider itching. Many people live with unexplained itching and think it's allergies or dry skin. But when the liver is under strain, bile salts can build up in the bloodstream and deposit under the skin, creating a relentless itch. Unlike typical itching, this discomfort often doesn't respond to creams or lotions because the problem isn't on the surface, it's within. This kind of itching can rob people of sleep and peace of mind, yet it's one of the least recognized signs of liver disease. The skin itself often provides clues. Small clusters of red blood vessels called spider angiomas can appear on the face, chest, or arms. They resemble tiny red webs, and they result from hormonal and vascular changes linked to liver dysfunction. Nails may turn white or develop strange curves. The palms can take on a reddish hue, known as palmar erythema. Each of these subtle changes is a fingerprint of the liver's condition, showing up on the body's surface long before deeper damage becomes obvious. To understand why, think of the liver as a master chemist. It processes nutrients, regulates hormones, manages proteins, and filters toxins. When the chemist's laboratory is disrupted, the entire supply chain suffers. Proteins that clot blood, hormones that maintain balance, and bile that helps digestion all become irregular. The results of that imbalance show up in the places you least expect: a bruise, an itch, a flush of the skin. The real danger is not that these signs are subtle, it's that they're so easy to ignore. People explain them away. I bruise easily, my skin is dry, it must be age. But these everyday explanations often delay the recognition of deeper liver problems. And the longer we dismiss these whispers, the louder the consequences become. Here's the hopeful truth: when you notice and respect these signals, you give yourself the chance to intervene early. By adjusting lifestyle habits, seeking medical advice, and supporting the liver with nutrition, hydration, and care, many of these signs can improve. The body is resilient, and the liver in particular has an extraordinary capacity to heal. If we listen before it's too late, there's a powerful line to remember here. Small signs are not small when they come from the body, they are warnings written in code. A bruise, an itch, a change in your skin, they are codes your liver is writing, hoping you will take notice. So don't ignore the subtle messages. Don't dismiss them as random. Pay attention, act wisely, and protect the organ that so faithfully protects you. Because your health is never defined by silence, it's defined by how well you listen to what your body is trying to say.